Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Meoni, and this is The Weekly Grind. This is your up-to-date look at everything in World of Warcraft in that current week, whether it be news, updates, tips, tricks, or just funny moments that I want to share with you guys. Now, obviously, I leveled to 90 a week ago, so there's been quite a lot of footage. I've missed out a lot of videos on Ace, along with my own channel, so I'm coming back to making videos now. I've got a lot more time on my hands. As you can imagine, I've been quite rushed around with all of the things to do in the expansion. But without further ado, let's cut straight to the chase. Here I am, killing Mushan in the Dreadwaste. This might be familiar for anyone doing their dailies, which is probably 90% of the people watching this video. And those other 10% need to get their dailies done. God! They're so important, especially Klaxi. So yeah, these Mushan have a horrible drop rate, so this is what I'll be doing whilst I'm watching this video back. So yeah, let's cut to something a little bit more interesting. So like many bugs in the Mists of Pandaria launch, there was this one that Sylar found of AceGamesTV. Now, he found this rather interesting little bug. We haven't been able to replicate this. We have no idea how he managed to do this. But this is footage of what he managed to do. Essentially, there are some spiders for this daily quest. For killing Mogu and other spiders in this particular area. You might be familiar. It's on the west side of the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. But here he is. Basically, he's stuck in combat, but he's not in combat. Like, he can mount up whether he wants to or not, and fly around. So he's not in actual combat, but this mob follows him as if it is in combat. However, it doesn't attack him and is completely immune to any damage. So this is this happens once every million years, and I managed to actually capture this. But I seem to remember something familiar in the Burning Crusade when that launched. There was something very familiar about this. It's a typical bug, but it's quite funny really, and we get quite attached to this spider. But essentially the bug goes as far as if he goes through a portal, whether it be an instance portal into an instance or back to Orgrimmar, basically the spider will wait at the portal until he returns. Like, he can log off and the spider will still be there. And if he logs on 30 minutes later, the spider will be there, and if he's next to the spider, it will follow him. And if he's not actually next to the spider, it will find him, and if he's in Pandaria, it will teleport to him. It's fucking awesome, this is, and I really wish I had my own pet spider. Unfortunately, the trip didn't end too well, and he fell through the world.
This is you frolicking by the portal. When you died, he never left your side. Alfred was loyal. A loyal companion.
And we never saw him ever again. So, it's a shame. R.I.P. I think we called him Alfred, something like that. But anyway, on to something a little bit more serious. Speaking of the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, here in the west, near where the spiders are, we decided we were going to do a little bit of exploration. So, there's these little cache chest keys that you can get from the Mogu. They're a ridiculously low drop chance, but we actually had one, me, Smokey, and Sylar. And we couldn't find a chest. Now, these Gulai chests are scattered inside this area, in this little building, this tunneled sort of palace thing. And each wing of the palace will unlock when you reach a certain reputation with the Golden Lotus. Now, at the moment, we're honoured, so we can access the left section and the right section. But the one in the back, pretty much, you have to be revered to even access at all. So we were like, well, can't we use the old trick of getting through doors, i.e. die and run next to it, or be feared for it? So that's exactly what we tried to do. So yeah, enjoy.
No.
Oh god, Meoni. Wait for my tremor totem to come off.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm Frepsy.
Fuck. Alright, hold on. 35 seconds. No, not yet.
Oh shit, I
No. What are you doing? Oh my god, you're a son of a bitch.
Sorry.
Oh my god, it's walking me through. I'm dead.
I can res you now, don't worry.
Yeah,
Did
but
you get
I can't res again now.
I can, because
That's the problem.
You can.
I got the debuff.
Yeah, but we can wait that out.
Or have we gone through the wrong doors?
We've not tried to do it, I know.
Oh, we'll try that.
Try that
after
next.
this.
Once we finish digging around.
This is fun.
There's a door that
Alright,
goes
okay.
left, and then you know you took the
Okay.
one door that goes on the left. Then you want to go straight downwards, so it'd be like in front of you, because that's where it goes down on the map.
After much frolicking later, we finally did get through the door, not by fearing through it, that was quite hilarious, but in the end we ended up just dying twice, dying at the first door, running back, rezzing the other side of it, and then dying a second time by pulling the mobs into you at the other side of the tile room, and that's pretty much it really. We managed to get through here. There's a few things to obviously be afraid of. In the previous room there's tiles. All you have to know is stand on the blue ones, don't stand on anything else, and they follow around in a trail. If you were doing it legitimately, that's what you would do. But down here, inside the inner sanctum, we were quite excited to be able to get in here, and there were gulai chests everywhere, which is the fundamental point of this. This is really useful, so I thought I'd share this with you. But yeah, if you go down here, you can see that there are various traps, various like statues, which basically will kill you if you stand under them. But also there's this child of Alani. Now this child is pretty awesome. She has some significance in a questline, I believe, at Revered. But we're just down here and we're going to kill her regardless. But we may as well show off the tactics for this. So basically she starts up there on that platform, you go up there and you do DPS to her. She puts out about 6 lightning charges on the floor. You don't want to be standing in these. These are AoE like floor marker glyph things. You just move out of them, and every time you move for those 6 she just places them. So you can place them in a row if you get targeted away from the boss and away from danger. They tick quite high, about 40,000 damage per tick. So they're not something to be messed about with. She doesn't have a significant amount of HP and goes down pretty easy, even alone. There are 3 of us here. Every now and again she will throw everybody on that, including pets, down to the platform below with herself. In this particular area phase, she will put down 2 electrified areas of floor. These tick quite heavily, but you need to get away from her vicinity, her melee range, as soon as possible, because she will kill you with like an AoE melee explosion. So what you have to do is you have to grin and bear it, try and avoid as much electricity as possible, but essentially make it back up to the top platform. Once she's done her explosion mechanic, she will fly back up here and pretty much rinse and repeat. And that's it for this Child of Alani. This room is obviously quite useful with these chests. They seem to respawn in different areas of the building once you open one of them. And they also, there's a little tip here, if you open one of them, there is about an 8-minute internal cooldown without you even seeing it. So if you have more than one key and you go around spamming these chests, the likelihood is you'll only get the first chest to work, and then the second and thereafter, if you spam them, like within seconds afterwards, will not actually open properly and just despawn. So wait a few minutes after you've clicked the first one, just to make sure, and then you can basically reap the rewards. Now obviously this it makes it so that you could potentially, I mean theoretically, you could get exalted within 1 day using this method. However, it's virtually impossible because there's like a 1% drop chance of the actual keys off of the Mogu outside anyway. So it's really just a tip and a trick for anyone who has any keys lying around, who can't find a chest. There's the ability to get to this back room here. Now obviously this mob doesn't drop anything. We thought she might drop a pet or something, but she is strictly something to do with the Revered questline for the Golden Lotus. But yeah, enough of that, let's move on to something else. If you fancy a flight to Townlong Steps, be sure to check out the western side of the zone and check out Nizao Temple. At the rear of this temple there are 2 vendors, one for Justice and one for Valor. Basically, Blizzard has consolidated all of the reputation gear from Valor and Justice into 2 vendors at the back of this temple. This is pretty much what I wanted in the first place anyway, instead of having to traipse around the entirety of Pandaria to go to each vendor individually. But obviously these vendors only have the Justice and Valor gear on them, they don't have the other reputation rewards, so if you do want any of the mounts and such, you're going to have to go to the actual zone, such as the Klaxi vendor in the Dread Waste, for example, for all of that stuff. But if you want just pure gear, then these 2 vendors are for you. Now there has been some rather interesting hotfixes. They've allowed you to access all of the Justice gear without reputation requirement. on the Justice vendor for the usual Justice prices. This is something they should have done at launch, and there's been a previous video on this already by Metro, I believe, and Tyler on his own channel. But that's a really interesting thing. And also another hotfix was released that basically made it so that if you're honoured or above with any reputation, now you only have to be honoured with a reputation, you can get the Valor gear. So obviously you can get your rings and your necklace and whatever else you have access to depending on your reputation. But as I'm only honoured with the Golden Lotus, I can only access the necklace and the rings, which are particularly very good rings and a very good necklace, so I would definitely advise going for that first. So another change that we'll have a look at now is the Justice stuff that you can get from the Justice vendor has been hotfixed up from 450 to 458, and have changed the Dreadful Season 12 stuff to be 458 and blue item level as well, instead of the epic stuff it was, because a lot of people were basically getting a lot of their pre-raid best in slot gear from just PvP. But now it's gone back to being like heroics are better than that stuff, and the Justice gear has been bumped up to be equivalent to that. So if you're a PvEer, you should actually be getting PvE gear, and PvPers should get PvP gear. However, the only other thing to sort of get out of that is the Malevolent stuff, which is the epic stuff. That stuff is still a higher item level than anything you can get in a heroics, and if you do happen to kill Shara of Anger or anything like that, and you do manage to get the gloves or any other PvP gear, it's still going to be better, the epic stuff is, than the stuff you can get from heroics, simply because of the stat weights are so much higher on those items and higher item level than the actual stuff you can get from heroics. Now obviously that differs depending on class, but that's what I found on my Warlock here, and many other people are still doing that as well. So if you can get gear, and even if it is PvP gear that drops off Shar, you should be using it regardless, unless you have a better epic piece. So yeah, that's that. That pretty much covers the hotfixes. Let's move on to something else. This is a little trick I found in the Dreadwaste dailies. We're going back to the dailies now. So back to reality, I'm afraid. Whoops, there goes gravity. So now we're back in Claxyverse, which is the town sort of daily quest hub area of the bug people. And there are these various augmentations you can get from saving these people through the quest lines, and obviously unlocking these dailies over time by saving these people. And each one of them will give you an augmentation. Now, a lot of these augmentations are pretty awesome. They offer like speed increases, they offer decreases in speed of the enemy, they have poison on your blades and stuff like that. But today we're only interested in Kaztik the Manipulator. Now, Kaztik offers you this augmentation, which is called Master of Puppets. Now, if I had the rights to play the Master of Puppets song in the background, believe me, I would right now. But unfortunately, copyright forbids YouTube from ever being that creative. So we'll just have to make do with whatever it is I've found to go on the back of this. But anyway, be singing the Master of Puppets song in your head whilst we do this. But essentially, what this ability does is allows you to dominate the mind of any bug, pretty much, or any creature in the entire zone under your control for a short duration, but enough to get your dailies done. Now, this creature can be anything, like I say, but there are limitations on that. It can't be, for example, any of the big elite creatures. I have tried to tame the big sort of giant bug thing on the Dead Scar sort of area. I've tried to tame all of the other mobs that you might even consider. If there's any I've missed, then, you know, feel free to leave a comment below as to what you've managed to tame with this ability, or if you found any exploits with this. But at the moment, the best one I found that you can tame for actually doing your dailies and making them a lot easier is vamoosh. Now, vamoosh I was complaining about at the start of this video, killing them because of their horrible drop rates on their tongs. Now, you think a mob would have a tong. Apparently not. But regardless, they have this really nice little knockback. Now, this basically means that against caster mobs, these are the best pet to have, essentially. for utility reasons. But obviously you can have anything you want now. There are the gyre worms over on the island to the southwest, which you can get, which are pretty awesome. They do quite a lot of damage. You can get everything from gyre worms to deer to mushan to pretty much anything that isn't something that you'd consider something that you couldn't get anyway, including this rather cool scorpion guy. There's actually a little man riding a scorpion that you can tame with this ability. It's pretty awesome actually, this, and definitely makes your dailies a lot more exciting, because if you're anything like me, Klaxy dailies are the least enjoyable part of your daily routine when you log on to WoW. But obviously we need the reputation, we need them exalted for all of the benefits, including the quest line eventually that gives you an epic. So these things are quite mandatory, so anything that makes them enjoyable along the way is fine by me. Now these augmentations do stack, you can get a lot at the same time. Now I'm not entirely sure which ones overwrite which other ones, but I have found that there are a couple which can overwrite you having this ability. But essentially once you have a Master of Puppets buff, you go up to a mob that you want, and you should have this little UI box to press that's called Master of Puppets, and you click that and it will dominate the mind of any creature or any tameable creature you can see. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much all I have for you today. I have this one last little clip of me riding on the back of one of these serpents. You should check out SciGamer, youtube.com/SciGamer, for a guide of how to get these guys exalted within only about 3 or 4 hours. It's a particularly good guide, and I followed it to get this and many other mounts, including the hover disc, which I feature in a lot of these videos. I get a lot of people asking me in game how to get these items, so you can go over there and watch those videos on SciGamer. Another thing I want to point out here is that this video series will be weekly. I'll be doing one of these each week for your benefit. I'll be trying to include all of the recent Warcraft hotfix news and all that good stuff in every episode. Hopefully this video has been of some use and of some interest, and a few laughs along the way for you guys. My name's been Meoni, and I leave you with this next area of a bit of Harry Derp. Enjoy.
From behind the counter to tell me how much they are in that, and he was like, these are £100, would you like them? And I said, I want something more expensive. So he brought out some crocodile skin ones, and he said these are £200. I was like, a little bit more in it. So he brought out some, what is it, elephant skin shoes, and I said to him, how much are they? He said these ones are 10 grand. And I was like, yeah, I like these ones, but I'm thinking about something a little bit more expensive. And he went, right, I've got the thing just for you. So he went in the back, he come back with some human skin shoes, and he said to me, these are 200 grand, mate, do you want them? And I said, you know what, I like them. How much are they? He said they're 200 grand. I said, do they come in any other colour? He says, yeah. These are human skin shoes, yeah, bear in mind. He says, yeah, they do come in other colours. They come in black, and they're £5.